What is up, guys? By looking at this, all that stuff, I think you guys already have a pretty good idea what we're going to be doing today. Guys, I cannot wait. Without further ado, let's get the car up first. After 200 bolts from the under tray, the car is checked up, under tray is off. I find that ridiculous, but oh well. So today we are installing oil temp gauge, oil pressure gauge, and water temp gauge. So these are genuine Defi stuff, and it comes with a little controller and a control box, and then paired up with the gritty oil block. Honestly, guys, I've been wanting to do this for the longest. Can't remember, but at some stage I've had oil pressure gauge before. That was when I first got the car. It was a replica, like a fake Defi, and it was just, it's cool and all that, but it's not it. And not long after, ended up not reading properly or something like that, and I just ripped it all out. So since I haven't had a gauge for years, and I always wanted gauges. First, they look cool, but second is that very important, I can keep a track on my oil pressure. I want to see my oil pressure more than my oil temp actually, and water temp is just, you know, an extra little bling on top coming along with the gauges. Really don't care about water temp that much because, you know, I already got a little gauge on the radiator and I got a gauge inside. Part of the reason why I've been putting it off for so long is also because I want to do a real OEM plus, real clean job, and also it was hard trying to find a spot in this car to mount these gauges that is not annoying you. So I think I found a spot. I've got everything planned out. So I think first I'm going to do is I will mount up the oil block, and using one of these adapters. So disclaimer is you don't actually have to drain the oil to take your oil filter off. Yes, there'll be oil coming out, but it'll be minimal amount. It'll basically just be whatever is in the filter and whatever is around the area, because the oil pump is not going, so it's not really circulating oil in your engine to drain the whole thing out. So with that being said, I'm not actually going to worry about changing my oil today. I'm just going to take the oil filter off and keep on with my installing. And once I've installed everything, I might top up a little bit of oil. Alright, the sensors are installed. This is the pressure sensor, this is the temperature sensor. Now they're all Teflon taped. This is actually like a tapered 1-8 thread. This is like a straight thread, but either way I just try to play safe. I got Teflon tape on top, so tighten them down, not too tight. As long as they don't leak, they're all good. Alright, now the oil filter is off. You can see it's just basically dribbling, right? So you want to test which adapter is for you. So depending on what different car you have, there's be different thread. Now this one works for me. What I want to do is I want to make sure the O-ring is on there, otherwise it'll leak. So I want to position this where it's gonna work for me the best. Alright, just like that. I've got a position where I'm happy with. So you guys can see that wire is going up there. That's the oil temp. I'll route the oil pressure the same way as well. So maybe this is a better way of looking at it. 27 in the middle, the bolt or the adapter. So I'm gonna torque it down to 30 Newton meters. Man, I can just admit this will be like literally the cleanest install when it comes to wiring. So I had the wire coming through basically right up against the firewall. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zip tie it to the harness, and it's gonna run through here along the brake line, follow through here and into this little grommet, and you can literally pull this up and I had the wire coming through here. What I might do is I might grind down this rubber a little bit so that thing can sit flush. And then coming through here, obviously mine is a right hand drive. For you guys, it'll be opposite on the other side, but it should be all the same. Running through here, going down into basically the base of your booster, and then let's come to here. So I've taken the back of the wheel well plastic off, so you can see really well as you lift the front one on. So that's the back, and then you can see there is a massive hole, which above that is like your booster is right there. So the wire feed through here, and then it would go through. At the start I thought it would go through this hole, which is basically your hood latch. And then I was looking around and I found there's another one here, and it's got like this cap on there. So I just basically pulled it out, and turns out it's basically a factory drilled hole that is ready for you to feed wire through. This is so smart. So it's right here, and let's come into the cabin. So I've taken some parts off, nothing crazy, just easier for you guys to see. I've pulled this trim piece off, rubber off, pretty basic stuff. You guys know how to do it. And pulled this bottom part off. Air cleaner holes there, a plug there, 3 plugs here, and this piece comes off. And then here is my fuse box, and you can see this is the hood latch. This is where it goes through, but then right below that is right there. That's that hole I'm talking about. So this is a fuse box, so you can get power, and then that hole's right there. The wire would come through there. It's like, man, Nissan couldn't thought these through more. Like, I've had a video probably about 2 years ago talking about how to feed wire through your firewall, good places, and at that time I didn't know about that. I was talking about where all the basically the main engine stuff, you can see, will be going through there on the top and over there on the top. So I think that might be the easiest, best spot for you to take wire through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill a hole in the middle. I still want to keep this grommet. I want to pop it back in just like the factory, and then have the wire feeding through the middle. Alright, engine based stuff tidied up. So wire, you can't even see it. It's like literally running down there, through here, and down into the bay, and coming down here, the wire are coming through from the top. You can see those two, and I've got these 2 plugs which I've zip tied as well, just to, you know, make sure they don't move around. And I found a hole on the subframe right there. So then I just get like one of these little clip thing, and then there's a bolt that you can actually see, that nut right there. It's already drilled through from the factory. So basically I just used like a 10mm bolt, nut and bolt. Got this secured, wire is not going nowhere, and then goes up to the sensors. So you know, I like to do it properly, peace of mind, and also later on if I need to do any maintenance, say replace a sensor or anything like that, disconnect here, and you know, easy, not creating any headache for maintenance later on. So pretty happy with this. I'm just gonna chuck the filter back on and get started in the cabin stuff. Look at that, just perfectly placed. You guys won't believe how long it took me to get all these pad absolutely perfect flush. If you have the Navi and you want to keep that, I just wish there is a better spot for mounting the gauges. But I always say this will not be the final product. This won't be the end solution. I'll definitely figure out some cool 3D printed pieces for sure. But for now, and for the near future, this will do. And I think next thing I want to do is actually drilling hole through the panel to hide even daisy chain. Because if you look at it, the daisy chain is quite long, and it's kind of ugly when you see all these wire exposed, even though you're running less wire with daisy chain, but still. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to drill hole on the plastic. Don't worry, I do have spare one of these, or without a spare I definitely won't draw into these kind of stuff. And then fingers crossed there's enough room for the wire to sit. All the holes are drilled. Now there is a little incident while I was drilling the hole. Accidentally cracked the bezel, so I ended up plastic welding it. Not like you can see the crack really. Alright, this is how it's looking. Not gonna lie guys, the install is absolutely pain in the ass. If you're trying to do the wire, like hide them real clean, man, like this is a pain in the ass. Honestly, it's because of that climate control. There's absolutely fuck all space to hide wire behind this. And if you do manage to hide wire, the clip is absolutely a pain to get into. And also I'm running the wire through here, down the dash, and it comes out right here, just underneath it. Well, that's easy, but that part, man, it absolutely like ruined one of my gauge, like my tape on the gauge, because now this is loose. Kind of running out of option there, but honestly, it's kind of touching the glass as well, which is another thing I'm annoyed about. Those two aren't. This one is, because it's loose. It's just getting pulled. Now that comes off, but it's just getting pulled so hard because the wire. Honestly, you won't have this issue if you don't mind showing all these daisy chain bunch of wires through, and you can just run it into the dash through that corner. But if you want a clean setup, man, that spot it's hard, man. It is hard. All right, now I'm just getting to wire up the actual power. So quickly show you guys. Obviously you guys need a multimeter. The red one, that is constant 12 volt power. Orange, that is ignition. This is ground, and this is illumination, which is for like dimming and for your gauge light, all that kind of stuff. So you want to have these kind of fuse, so what do you call it, like power to be able to take from the fuse box, and you want to properly fuse it. And you can see I already have like two running out. One is for my like Bluetooth, which I need to power up. Alright, just giving you guys a quick little update. So we have found the power, we have found the ignition and the ground. So basically right here, that is an empty fuse, empty right there. That is going to be your ignition, which I am using one of the one of these stuff to get the power, so I can just also plug it in nice and easy. That's for the ignition. Now for the constant 12 volt power, now why can't you just tap the constant 12 volt with the ignition? Now Defi doesn't recommend you doing that, because I think it's stuff to do with like storing the peak number or the peak reading in the control box itself, as well as something to do with fire hazard. So definitely recommend you connecting it all up. So as for the constant power, you can see right here there's a trunk lid. There is also a room lamp, which is all the lights inside your car. So that is this little 10 amp fuse that I pulled out. So I'm going to run another one of these for the constant 12 volt out of here. So then I have constant 12 volt, I have ignition. The ground is going to be right down there where this blue wire is connected to. So that's the ground I'm going to use. And yeah, your Defi gauge would work after that, and then I'll find the illumination wire. All these wires are all connected to the control module. Guys, look at this. That is obviously the temperature is not up to temp yet. So water, oil, that's still not up to temp, but the pressure is right there. Got good pressure. The illumination wire, I just stuck it to like a 12 volt for now, but I'll wire it up. I was actually stuck on this for like a whole night last night. The gauge keep beeping the minute I plugged it, like the minute I had the ignition on. This is what a little control unit look like. But anyway, the minute I had the ignition on, that shit started beeping like a constant beep. And now I figured out why. Finally, it's because this was set when it's below a certain amount of kPa, it will beep, like it'll be a warning. And that was the warning I was hearing, not a fault, because I keep looking at the Defi manual and there was nothing about a constant beep. Now I figured out that was a warning. That was nothing to do with wrong installation or anything. Man, I feel so stupid. But you know what? Now it's fixed. That power light is on. Everything is working. I'm gonna check for leak, and then I'll get started on wiring the illumination and re-tidy up everything. Alright, check this out. Oof, sounds so good. My car's warmed up a bit, so the gauges have reacted as well. Also, just to show you guys underneath, there's absolutely no leak, super clean. Alright, I found the illumination wire as well. So basically, this is your cigarette lighter plug. So this blue and red stripe, that is the one that has got the illumination. The red and black stripe, that is constant 12 volt. Obviously I'm not using oh no, actually that is ignition. I'm not using that. And the black obviously is ground, but like I didn't use any of those other than the middle one, which is illumination, which I then run the wire through here. Ideally I was going to tap into my headlight switch. Obviously there is a switch there, and then there'll be a wire behind it somewhere, but then I have to take out all of these stuff, which I just can't be bothered. But I think that's pretty clean. It's just one little wire. It's I've got it tucked underneath there, running all the way along here, and then now it's connected to my white illumination, which yeah, as you can see, I've got these wires zip tied, and also these zip tied as well. Those will be hidden somewhere. Defi gauge is good, but man, there are a lot of wires, but that's okay. I'm gonna hide all of those. Alright, so all these wires are all tucked, and ended up taping up the Defi link to the bottom of the, well, what do you call that? I don't know, the trim, whatever you call it. And basically I velcroed, stick the Defi control unit onto this trim. so I can easily remove it. You can see right there, I just pull on it. Really no better spot for it, or you can completely hide it, which basically this is pretty much hidden. You can't see it, and it's not really in your way of driving, even though it might look like it is, but it's not. And basically then just all the wires, you guys can see here's the bottom of the Defi link, all the wires are tucked above this, and I have to say there are a lot of wires, but that's okay, they're all hidden now and all zip tied. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this beautiful? Oh man. Pretty happy about this. Looks pretty good. If I have to be honest, this install was pretty hard, like annoying. It'll be very easy if you don't care about cable management, all that kind of stuff. You don't care about tidy, and which is going to be a lot easier then. But later on, when you want to maintain your car and, you know, take it apart and stuff like that, or get you somewhere that it's like the wires in the way, all that kind of stuff, it's just annoying. For me, I want to do it like it came like that from the factory, so then it takes a lot of time. To be honest, the location of the gauges are fine. These, like, if you guys can see, that is clean enough, but I've done my best trying to hide everything. But to be honest, I feel like to make it absolutely perfect, I will have to do some 3D printing and pretty custom stuff. It'll do for now, it's tidy enough for now. And you guys can see down there, you guys can see that's where the Defi link is. Pretty tidy, not really in the way of anything, even though it look like it might, but it's actually not touching. And also I've just got some new wheels as well for the sedan. Definitely a big upgrade as well, so stay tuned on that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.